Hi, ladies. We're on part 2 of our lecture. This should be Wednesday, the 26th, and we're on chapter 11. And again, it's part 2 of our E&M lecture. There's going to be 3 to 4 parts, 3 on lecture, and then I will spend a 4th Zoom kind of giving some details on E&M and how I actually label that and things of that nature. I want to remind you of where I'm getting my objectives. If you look on the very first page of your textbook, or not the first page, but the first page of the chapter of your textbook, you're going to find objectives. And I like to put mine in different colors and write notes, but this is where if you see objective number 8, you're going to be able to see, or objective number 5, you're going to see where I got that objective. And that goes in order with what you're learning in your chapter. So the second thing that I want to remind you of is, because I know that a lot of these terms and a lot of this information, it's a lot. That's the key word here. It's a lot of information. But I want you to understand that these are found, if you look in your E&M section, you have the guidelines. And everything that I'm going through is actually in these guidelines. And so when you're testing, when you're taking your evaluation and management test, the chapter 11 exam, one of the things that you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to go into those guidelines of your CPT and you can find your answers there. You can always use your manuals. Always, always, always. That is not cheating. That's exactly what you need to do, because what if you can't remember and you're out in the field and you're like, I know that we went over that. You're going to know, oh, I made notes in my guidelines. Oh, I highlighted this in my guidelines. So it's so important for you to not only do your material, but get into your manuals and get to know what's there. 9 times out of 10, your answer is right there. You don't have to struggle with finding it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to move on to part 2 of E&M. Okay, part 2, evaluation and management. So our last lecture, we started analyzing key components, and we're going to do a little bit of a recap because I had the history on the board, and I'm just going to go over the history again. History provides insight into the reason for the patient encounter or chief complaint, which is CC. You guys need to remember that. The history of present illness, which is your HPI, and provides a review of systems, ROS, based on the patient's perspective. So they're giving you their perspective or their viewpoint. And past family social history, PFSH. We always say psh, but that's just silly. But it's the past family social history. Okay, we're going to break it down in details of the history component. So you remember one of those components was the chief complaint. The chief complaint is a concise statement summarizing the symptom, the problem, condition, diagnosis, and reason for the patient encounter. So that's our chief complaint. That's what that is. That's what it tells us. Usually stated in the patient's own words. For example, my back really hurts. Next, we're going to talk about the HPI, the history and present illness. This is a chronological description of the development of the patient's chief complaint. So this is a chronological description. So here's some HPI elements, and I'm going to give you examples. The location, lower back. The quality is burning radiation into my left leg. Severity is 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. You guys know they always make you pick the number on the wall. Duration, 1 week and getting worse. What's the timing? Oh, it's constant. It constantly hurts. Context. Noticed after lifting furniture. Modifying factors, lying down makes the pain better with over-the-counter meds. I'm sorry, for some reason that's kind of off center right there. And associated signs and symptoms like numbness in the lower leg or numbness in my right arm. So those are the elements in your HPI. They're actually going to give you more facts. It's going to help with the diagnosis. It's going to help the doctor know how severe it is. A brief HPI would only include the location, which would be your lower back, the duration, which is 1 week, and modifying factors. Over-the-counter ibuprofen helps. So that's a brief HPI. Okay, review of systems, ROS. Review of systems is an account of body systems obtained through a series of questions based on the patient's perspective. Some examples of review of systems: constitutional symptoms, fever or weight loss, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and throat, cardiovascular, respiratory, gastrointestinal, genitourinary, integumentary, musculoskeletal, neurological, psychiatric, and endocrine. Those are all your systems. So if we are using back pain, what do you think, what system are we going to be reviewing? Well, our musculoskeletal system. It could be neurologic, but I would say that it's going to be musculoskeletal system to start with, to start going, okay, we need to do tests on this, or we need x-rays of that. And if it's not something in that area, it may be neurologic. It could be psychiatric if they have some sort of disorder that they think they're in pain when they're not. So that's just, you know, that's what our review of systems is how many systems is this affecting? Oh, and then we have hematologic and lymphatic, allergic, immunology. The ROS, the review of systems, helps define the problem, clarify the differential diagnosis, identify needed testing, or serves as a baseline data on other symptoms that might be affected by any possible management options. So this gives a doctor the direction on where he needs to start testing and what system or what part of the body he's going to be testing on. So that's what your review of systems are or is. And remember, you have this in the guidelines of your CPT. Or are you on your, sorry, with your evaluation and management. There are 3 types of review of systems. The number 1 is pertinent problem, which inquires about the system directly related to the problems identified in the HPI, which if we look at our lower back pain would be what? Our musculoskeletal system. Number 2, extended, which adds a limited number of additional systems. Sorry about the typo there. It has a D, it should be an S on system. What if we tried the musculoskeletal, but then we needed to branch out into the neurologic, the nervous system? And then number 3 inquires about the systems directly related to the problems identified in the HPI, plus all additional organ systems. So what if you had musculoskeletal, then you had neurologic, and then it moved on to psychiatric? You see how it can build. It can be bigger than just the musculoskeletal system. So let's go back to history components. The history component consists of 3 history areas: past, which is prior major illness and injuries; family, causes of death in parents and children; social, which is your marital status, your living arrangements, any relevant social history, which would include drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. So now we're going to move into objective number 7, and we're going to analyze the key component of examination. The examination is the assessment of body areas or organ systems. This helps determine the correct diagnosis and devise a treatment plan. The level of E&M services are based on 4 types of exam. You're going to have a problem focus, which is a limited exam of the affected area or organ system. Expanded problem focus, which is a limited exam of the affected body area or organ system and any other symptomatic or related body areas or organ systems. Detailed, which is an extended exam of the affected body area or organ system and any other symptomatic related body area or organ system. Comprehensive, which is a general multi-system, which is more than one system exam, or complete exam of a single organ system, which you need to look for there is complete, and other symptomatic or related body area or organ system. Okay, so that was a mouthful, right? Well, I want you to pull out your CPT. Just pull it out. I'm grabbing mine and I'm turning to my E&M section. And I'm going past my guidelines. And I'm going to the very first page of my evaluation and management, which is going to be new patient 99201. Now, let's read what that says. Office or other outpatient visit for the evaluation and management of a new patient, which requires these three components. And then you start looking at what it says. It says a problem-focused history, a problem-focused examination, and a straightforward MDM, medical decision-making. And that's a 10-minute visit. So you guys start recognizing the words. Problem focused, that's what we talked about was our very first component. Okay, then we look at 99202, and then you're going to have your expanded problem focused, and that's going to be 20 minutes. Your medical decision making is going to be straightforward, and it's going to be low risk. So let's turn our page, and let's look at our 99203, and that's our detailed, and that lasts for 30 minutes. And here's the word you're going to recognize. Our 99204 is our comprehensive, and it lasts 45 minutes. So those are where those words are coming from. That is what they're talking about. I know that I'm giving this to you in pieces, but I just want you to recognize the components right now. I'm giving you a little line to show you where those words come into play. I hope you're not discouraged or confused. If you're having a little bit of confusion, I want you to hang in there because I have one more part to the lecture and then we're going to get into the CPT and the light bulbs are going to go on, and I'm so excited to see that because E&M is our largest section. It's used most commonly by doctors. So it's so important that you have a good understanding, and that's why we're taking this one little piece at a time. So read your information, listen to the lectures. If you have a question, please let me know and call me, or you can ask on Zoom, or you can text me. I'm available to you anytime. So this is what I want you to do. This is your little assignment to go with your lecture. I want you to go from 99201, 99202, 99203, and 99204. And I want you to highlight the time on those codes. And I want you to take a picture of it for me. So when I say highlight the time, when you go to a 99201, you read in this little paragraph right here, and that is your time. So that is going to be your little assignment that goes along with your lecture, and I need for you to submit those pictures, please. Have a great day. Let me know if you have a question, and I love this chapter, and I'm so excited that we're doing it. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.